Thank you for viewing our demonstration of Cetova for Lawson, a uniquely effective and efficient solution for Lawson customers. This is Jay Wiess, practice leader at JGI, and I'll be joined later by Craig Foote from Cetova, who in a minute or two will give a 10-minute demo of the Cetova solution. Cetova is a total pre-integrated solution for Lawson customers consisting of 3 modules, and Craig will show each of those to you. One is C-QRY, which is Cetova's tool for multi-dimensional reporting and analysis with end-user functionality that makes it very easy for end users to create reports and to share reports. C-QRY is Cetova's real-time query tool for extracting data from Lawson and other data sources. And C-ExecView is Cetova's dashboarding tool, which allows for graphical presentation of the output of C-QRY and C-QRY. At JGI, we're offering our customers a unique opportunity to try Cetova, where our clients can use Cetova with no charge and no obligation for 30 days. Fundamentally, we go through a full implementation of Cetova where we install the software and run it against your production, or if you prefer a test Lawson database, create sample reports, queries, dashboards, train your key users, and demonstrate the capabilities of Cetova. If after 30 days, we'll simply uninstall it if you're not satisfied, but if you are, and we think you will be, you simply pay for the software and the implementation. If you'd like more information on Cetova or on our 30-day trial, this is my contact information, Jay Wiess, and you see my email address there and my phone number, 201-291-5172. Please contact me. And now I'll turn it over to Craig for a live demo of Cetova. It'll take only about 10 minutes, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks, Jay. So the first thing we're going to do is to take a look at the C-QRY report editor application. I've already opened up the report editor, and the hardest part of really creating a report in Cetova is to decide which information you want and where you want to see it. So I'm going to go in here and pick off periods. So I'll take January, February, and March, and I'll simply drag and drop those to where it says drag columns here, drag rows here, or I could filter the report by those 3 periods by dragging it into the filter bar. But I want to start by setting up those 3 periods as the columns of my report. The report editor application really should look and feel like Microsoft Excel or maybe a pivot table to the end user. So that should eliminate any learning curve, as this is a fairly familiar type of interface between dragging and dropping in the Excel-like principles that the report editor is based on. I'm going to go ahead and bold and center my columns just like you would in Excel. Now it's time to create the rows of my report. So I'm going to go ahead and go down into my expenses under the accounts section, and I'll drag and drop those accounts into where it says drag rows here. The next logical operation would be to create a subtotal. I'm going to right click, insert a new cell after. Again, let's think back to how we do this in Microsoft Excel. I would use a sum function. So if I double click on the cell, notice that we have the same sum function that you'd expect in Excel. So I want the sum of row 1 through row 4. So I just clicked on row 1, held down shift, and clicked on row 4. Say OK. Let's add a little more formatting by indenting the body of that section. I'm going to right click and format cells here. Going to change the background color, and let's also add an underline to highlight our subtotal. Okay, so the last thing I have to do to finish off this report would be to choose a fiscal year, a type. I could also choose a company and or accounting unit if I wanted to. So let me go ahead and drag down fiscal year 2006, and we'll also fill in our type with actuals. And let me just add a label for 2006 there as well. There we go. So at this point I'm ready to save my report. So I'm going to go ahead and save. I'll save this report under my demo reports category. That's fine. I'm going to call this my initials, CF, demo, and it is 127 on my computer right now, so I'm just going to put a timestamp on that, 127. In order to view the report, as a developer, I can just go ahead and hit Preview Report. And there's our information. That simple. Now, a lot of users would really like to see, especially financial users or accountants would want to see actual versus budget and maybe a variance. So let's take this report a step further by going into drag in actuals and budgets into our columns of the report. And again, I'm going to bold and center this report. I'm going to right click after budget and insert a cell after. Let's create a variance. Again, think back to how to do this in Excel. I'm going to take column B, click on column B, type in a minus, click on column A. Save, preview when I'm ready to view this, and there we go. So obviously this is a fairly basic report, but you can see how quickly we were able to create that report, and actually a couple different versions here. Now, as an end user, I have a couple different ways in which I can access this report. I could go out to the web portal, and let me go ahead and log in. The web portal is a central location that the users have the ability to save reports to, and based on security, the user would have credentials to see different folders and different reports that they have access to. So here's my report, CF Demo 127. I could click on the link here to run it in HTML. I could click on the PDF icon. I could run it in Excel 2003 or 2007. I'm going to click on the link to just run it in HTML mode. And there it is. Let me go ahead and run a report that I spent a little more time and effort on in creating the formatting and filling out some more rows. I'm going to click on Reports to go back to the initial list. Let's go to Financial Reports, and I'm going to click on Income Statement. So again, we're going to run this in HTML mode. And here's a sample income statement that we created for a prior demo. Now, let's say as a user, this sales hospital services line is looking a little high to me. I can go and click on the row header, and that will explode out this individual row to show me all the accounts that make up that row within the report. Either at this level or at the top level, I can also click on any of the cells to see all the transactions that make up that individual balance as well. And there we go. So we can see, company, fiscal year, on over to the actual amounts, posted dates, so on and so forth. This query is fully customizable, so we can add columns, remove columns, change the formatting, sorting, so on and so forth. So this is sort of the data level aspect, but there might be users who actually want to see something a little more high level, such as a dashboard. So I could do that by going to my finance dashboard. Let me click on that and launch it. And this just gives the user a little more of a graphical presentation of their data. And here we can see that we have 4 different charts for revenue by location. We have a 3D pie graph, revenue percentage to budget. We have a gauge for 3D bar graph for payroll expenses versus actual and budget, and finally net income by period. And we also have a couple parameters here. So the user has the ability to go in and change to June 2005, hit the refresh button, and there we go. Also notice that we have multiple tabs across our dashboard. So I can click on an income statement to see my income statement. This could be a totally separate dashboard, such as HR or a payroll dashboard with more charts and graphs. The types of setups are really limitless. You have the ability to create anything you want. And to show you a quick example of how easy it is to create a dashboard, I'm going to go ahead and just show you the report that we're going to use. So the first step is to create a C-FAR report or a C-QRY report. And I already have one out here, very basic report. My demo trend metric, where we just have January through December and actual and budget going down the rows. Now I actually want to take this and attach it to a chart or graph so that I can see trends a little easier as opposed to looking at all these numbers. Nothing really jumps out at me here. So let me go into my dashboard area, click on New Dashboard. Give it my initials, CF, demo, and I'll call it dashboard. So that'll open up the administrative area to create a dashboard, and on the left-hand side you can see that we have a bunch of different chart types, parameters, so on and so forth. The first thing I have to do here is to drag and drop a bar graph. Well, any type of graph. I'm going to choose a bar graph. Let's make that wider by dragging and dropping. And I have to select a data source. A data source is simply a C-QRY or a C-QRY report. So I'm going to go in and pick on my trend metric. And there we go. So pretty straightforward. It just takes that C-QRY report, presents it in a more of a graphical format. Now I do have a lot of options here to control the formatting. So if I wanted to change the name of the graph, the x-axis label, y-axis label, so on and so forth, I have the ability to do that. I'm going to go over to the right hand side, and instead of CF trend metric, I'm just going to call this trend metric, press return, and there we go. I also want to rotate my labels 45 degrees so I can fit some more labels on this report. So I'm going to go to the X label rotation. Notice our labels are now rotated. And let's change the x-axis label to months and y-axis to dollars. So it's pretty easy to create a dashboard. I could drag another pie graph on. Let's make these two the same width by using Control and make same width. Select another data source. Let's see what else I have out here. Going to go to metrics, and I want to look at revenue by location this time. Again, it's a fairly simple report, and you can see how easy that it comes in there. So when I'm ready, I just go ahead and save, and then as an end user, they could either go into the dashboard section, or we could publish it out to the folder structure that you saw previously, and hit view, and they pretty much get the same view of the dashboard. However, we don't have all the development tools there for the users. So we could put in parameters. You really have, like I said earlier, endless amount of options in dashboarding, and you can see how quickly and easy they can be created. So that brings me to the end of my high-level presentation for today.
Thank you, Craig. Once again, to learn more about Cetova, about our 30-day trial, or to schedule a private demonstration, please contact me, Jay Wiess. It's jay.weiss@jginfo.com, or by phone at 201-291-5172. Thank you.